Good morning. It is Monday, August the 29th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. The National Insurance Scheme has announced the plans to enhance the level of compliance to ensure employers are paying contributions on behalf of workers. NIS Director Kim Tudor gave the assurance last night on TV8's The People's Business, which focused on the topic NIS, the way forward. She gave an update on the amnesty, which saw 198 employers coming forward under a payment plan where some $22 million was owed to the NIS.
Once they're able to pay off that, we would waiver the interest, some portion of that. If they are able to complete it within the 2 years, we will waive the entire interest. And if they're not able to complete in the 2 years, then we would waive probably 90%, 70%. So that was to the tune of 22 million. But we don't want employers to wait until that happens. We want them to come forward and proactively enter discussions and negotiations with us. Equally, we're going to step up our compliance in terms of early notification to employers that we haven't seen the payments. On the other hand, as I've been saying, we do have a portal, and employees as well as self-employed persons can register on the portal, and you can check the portal on a monthly basis, a weekly basis, a daily basis if you have that time, and check to see that your employer is making the payments for you.
Ms. Tudor, however, warns the NIS can and will take action against delinquent employers for failing to make the required contributions.
The Act allows us to charge 1% on the balance outstanding. And in addition to those outstanding contributions, we are allowed to secure it by a judgment certificate. That judgment certificate prohibits employers from borrowing money from registered financial institutions without paying the outstanding balance or making some kind of arrangement with NIS. So if you owe for an outstanding amount of time, you've made no arrangements with us, you've ignored all our warnings, we can go forward for a judgment certificate against the business. And we have
Meanwhile, Actuary Derek Osborne is confident the National Insurance Scheme can improve compliance while encouraging more Barbadian workers and self-employed individuals to sign on to the scheme. He says national insurance has proven its worth as a safety net for Barbadians, especially in its response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Like during COVID, there's $150 million paid out in unemployment benefits. People lost their job for 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 25 weeks. NIS was there, and if we can show the informal sector workers that even when COVID hit, the government had to step in to give them some support. NIS could be there for them when they get sick, when they have a baby, or when they get old.
That's Actuary for the NIS, Derek Osborne, and you'll hear more from the program in subsequent newscasts. Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, updates on the COVID-19 pandemic, and we'll look at the war in Ukraine. Barbados has recorded 86 new COVID-19 cases, 47 males and 39 females, from 507 tests carried out on Saturday, August 27th by laboratories across the island. The cases comprised 10 persons under the age of 18 and 76 who are 18 years and older. The number of people in isolation facilities was 90, while 1,699 people were in home isolation. Under the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19, the total number of persons with at least one dose is 163,178. The total number of people who are fully vaccinated stands at 154,370. Ukraine's state energy operator says there is a risk of radioactive leakage at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, which is Europe's largest nuclear facility and currently under occupation by Russian troops. Let's go there now for an update.
Fighting near the facility has stoked fears of a radiation leak. It's been under Russian control since the early days of the war. Officials in Zaporizhzhia have begun distributing iodine tablets to residents. The move comes after 2 of the reactors at the nuclear power plant were disconnected for a time on Thursday. Teresa Bo is following developments from Kyiv.
Well, the war in Ukraine has been raging for 6 months, and mostly the fighting has moved towards the southern and the eastern part of the country. Ukrainian forces have strategically been targeting military bases, Russia's military bases in the city of Melitopol and in Kherson also. Ukrainian forces are saying that they repelled several attacks on a city like Kherson that is currently occupied by Russian forces. The other development that's ongoing is that in the eastern part of the country, there's been an increase of Russia's attack in that part of the country, an attempt to take over the Donbass all around that area. And that's why the Ukrainian government has dictated a mandatory evacuation from that part of the country to save people's lives, to prevent more injuries. They're telling people that if they want to stay, they have to sign a paper, so they're responsible for their own lives. But what is clear is that they want to get civilians out of that part of the country. A major concern right now here in Ukraine is what's ongoing in the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Shelling and fighting has been ongoing around that area. The Russian Ministry of Defense is saying that Ukrainian forces attacked that site at least twice, saying that shelling came very, very close to where the radioactive waste is located and where the nuclear fuel is located. Ukrainian forces are saying that it's the Russian forces who have been doing the shelling since they took over the nuclear power plant back in March. They established a military base there, and they have been attacking Russian forces from there. Local authorities around all that area have been distributing iodine pills to different hospitals in case anything goes wrong, in case there's any type of leak, radioactive leak. Iodine pills can be used to protect the thyroid gland from radiation. So that's a major concern, and that's why it is important the presence of a third party. A third party would be the United Nations nuclear watchdog, the IAEA. We know that they're putting together a visit in place, and it's likely to happen in the next few days.
6:09 on a Monday morning. Let's hear from Pearson now what's coming up on today's edition of Morning Barbados. Pearson, what are you looking at today?
Good morning, Shane. Good morning, everyone. When you join me at 6:30 this morning, we're just days away from the start of the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum. We want to hear who's coming, why it's happening, and some of the other benefits to be derived. So look out for that. Also, the Eco Youth Farm Program is on. They're taking a look at youth in crop and livestock farming and land-based fisheries. It's ongoing, but what are the benefits? Who's doing what? We'll share with you. And in our conversations on CARICOM, Ambassador Komishong is now back from an historic trip to Jamaica, where he did quite a lot. But that's not all that he did as well. He'll update us on that special heads meeting on Haiti and a whole lot more in our conversations on CARICOM. Those are just a little bit of what you can expect when you join me at 6:30 for Morning Barbados. It's back to you, Shane.
See you soon, Pearson. Looking forward to it. Well, when we come back from this break, we'll look at some of the upgrades coming for the Transport Board. Details to that story and a whole lot more up next. Passengers traveling on Transport Board buses will soon be able to swipe and ride. That's because the board is on the cusp of a cashless payment system for commuters. The Deputy Prime Minister, Santia Bradshaw, made the announcement during a church service to mark the board's 67th anniversary yesterday. Sharika Griffith was there and filed this report.
The days of searching for exact change for the bus could be coming to an end as the Transport Board prepares to roll out a cashless payment system. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport Santia Bradshaw revealed it will involve the new national ID cards.
As you know, we're introducing the ID card, and we want to be able to allow people to just swipe and be able to travel on the buses. And of course, that means our pensioners, our school children, everybody will be accommodated by way of this new initiative. The fact that there will be no money, or that is what is intended in terms of the transformation, also means that the fears that people have in relation to carrying cash and being robbed and being interfered with because they have money on them, also that is something that we have looked at. And we therefore, I believe just in a few weeks or so, we should have the first 50 on island. The preparatory work has already been done, but the intention is that by January of next year that we can actually go live in relation to the cashless system.
She made the revelation as members of the executive team and staff at the Transport Board attended a service at the Cullimore Rock Church of the Nazarene to mark its 67th anniversary. With 49 electric vehicles currently in its fleet, Ms. Bradshaw says more should be arriving soon.
It is expected that over the next 6 months, this complement of electric buses will be increased by another 10, and the Ministry of Energy is working assiduously to get those buses here. I believe we were hoping we would get them by Christmas, but I think you all appreciate as well the issues with the supply chain and being able to get things from across the seas.
Ms. Bradshaw also addressed efforts to make the older fossil fuel-powered buses more efficient.
There are several of the diesel buses which have been retrofitted with new transmissions and engines which would have extended the life of those vehicles. And the retrofitting of the diesel buses resulted in a 33% reduction in diesel costs. And I think you all share with me in the concern in bringing down the cost of diesel, not just for the public, general public, but definitely for the Transport Board.
According to the Transport Minister, the ministry has also been working on a plan to introduce solar energy with a view to realizing some $3 to $6 million more in savings by the Transport Board. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Efforts continue in the north of the island to help entrepreneurs there ply their trade in what many consider a tough economic climate. The St. Lucie Parish Independence Committee has been lending a helping hand through its pop-up shops hosted at the Darrell Jordan Secondary School. The second edition over the weekend focused on some of the small businesses in St. Lucie, and according to Member of Parliament Peter Phillips, it is the type of exposure that's critical for the survival of these entrepreneurs.
This is an activity that we're pushing in relation to entrepreneurship in the parish. That is the center of our theme this year, trying to unearth and to assist those small business persons within the various communities across St. Lucie in marketing their goods. As we know, we are in very difficult economic times. We've been shut down as a country by COVID, and we are now trying to catch ourselves, as the saying would go. So this pop-up shop here today is being hosted by the Parish Independence Committee to assist all those small entrepreneurs within the parish to begin to display their goods.
And Mr. Phillips explains how the pop-up shop can help Barbadians beat the cost of living.
Everyone is crying out the cost of living is high, but in situations like these, you have things that are valuable, nice things, but they are at reasonable, very reasonable prices. And this is one of the things that we encourage, not just in St. Lucie, but across the island. This is our second pop-up shop. We would have had one here at the school with the students earlier in the year. We've now spread the base, so to speak, by encouraging persons from in the various communities across St. Lucie to come and to display their goods and to have some sales.
With the start of the new school term drawing near, several students from across the constituency of St. Michael South making the transition from primary to secondary school were provided with new backpacks and other supplies. The donation was part of the constituency's Back to School program. MP for St. Michael South, Kirk Humphrey, says the initiative would not have been possible without the support of many partners. While sharing his story of overcoming obstacles to get where he is today, Minister Humphrey stressed the need for people to be kind. He says kindness leaves an impression.
Just be kind, and because at the end of the day, you just don't know. You all know. Today you could be good, and tomorrow not so good. And so right now what we need in Barbados is for people to just be a little sweeter, a little kinder, a little nicer, and so on. And I know y'all are going on to secondary school, and Khalil will talk to you about that. Just as you go on, just continue to give your best.
And youth advocate Khalil Kothdawala reminded the youngsters that life is a journey made up of several parts.
You are about to enter another chapter of your journey. So life, let us say life is a journey. It's one long journey that starts the day you're born to the day that you leave here on this earth. But it isn't one straight line. Lord, I know that your parents will tell you that we wish it was a straight line, right? But it's not a straight line. It takes place in different parts and different chapters. So you are coming out now from one part. One part was when you were very young. You were just born, you couldn't talk, you couldn't write, you couldn't speak, you couldn't do much, could you? Another part was when you were at primary school and you were beginning to interact with other people outside of your house, outside of your communities. The point is that each phase is different, and that is important because you learn different lessons in each phase.
Internationally, the death toll from ravaging monsoon floods in Pakistan has crossed the 1,000 mark in the wake of a deluge described as a humanitarian disaster of epic proportions.
These are scenes from a rescue operation in Balochistan. Military helicopters have been deployed to help those stranded by floodwaters. People are desperate for help. They're running out of food and drinking water. They also need medicines to combat the threat of waterborne diseases.
A lot of floodwater entered our village. Our homes are submerged. Some of our relatives have died, and cattle too. We're not receiving any relief from the government.
And many have been left to fend for themselves. In parts of Balochistan, people are wading through neck-deep water to safety, carrying whatever they can. Al Jazeera's Kamal Haider is in the town of Charsada in northern Pakistan, where people were forced to flee as floodwaters threatened their homes.
After wreaking havoc in Balochistan and the southern province of Sindh, the floods are now wreaking havoc in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. The districts of Charsada and Nowshera are badly hit. As you can see, most people here are now seeking refuge on the M1 motorway that links Peshawar to Islamabad. These people, of course, have been here for the past 3 days with improvised shelters, sometimes using plastic sheets. Most of the houses are already underwater on both sides of the road. What we've been able to see is entire villages inundated underwater. People, of course, swimming to the other side in order to try to see if their houses are still intact.
We are under open skies. We need tents and bedding. As we have lost our entire belongings, the flood has washed away everything.
They've been able to bring out their livestock, but across the country over 70,000 cattle are missing, and that is going to be a huge loss when you think about the fact that corn, sugarcane, vegetable crops are also badly damaged. The government, of course, has not taken adequate measures to mitigate the effects of climate change. It was over 10 years ago that Pakistan saw a terrible flood, and there was an expectation that the government, of course, would be prepared to deal with another crisis, given the fact that there were already warnings in place. Over 15% of the country's population is now under risk because of waterborne diseases and the fact that it will take some time for them to rebuild their lives.
NASA will launch an unmanned Orion spacecraft into orbit around the moon today on a test run to ensure manned missions are as safe as possible. The Orion spacecraft is being launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Now, this is a giant rocket that will power NASA's Artemis mission. Named the Space Launch System, or SLS, it will generate 15% more thrust than Saturn V, which powered the Apollo moon missions. The SLS will carry the Orion capsule into space. It's designed to travel further and longer than the Apollo lunar lander. In time, NASA is hoping to make history with the first woman and person of color on the moon, but this mission will have only mannequins on board. For the moon landing, there'll be 4 astronauts. That's one more than the Apollo missions 60 years ago. Fintan Monahan has more.
This is the world's most powerful rocket. NASA intends to use it to send humanity back to the moon. Monday's launch will be a crucial test for the Artemis mission.
This is the single step that starts the journey of 1,000 miles. So we are going to launch a brand new heavy lift rocket with more liftoff thrust than the United States has ever produced, even more than the Saturn V. We've got a brand new capsule that can sustain a crew of 4 for 21 days on flights to the moon, around the moon, and beyond the moon. We're going to test all that out.
Artemis began its journey long before launch day. The booster rockets came by train from Utah. The core shipped by barge from Mississippi. That's where the world's most powerful engines were put to the test earlier this year. The rocket will push the Orion spacecraft beyond Earth's orbit. Several days and nearly 400,000 kilometers later, it'll reach the moon. Its orbit will pass within 100 kilometers of the lunar surface. After collecting the data it needs, it'll begin the return trip back to Earth.
It is definitely getting real. The rocket outside on Launch Pad 39B will be writing the next chapter of space exploration and space science. That chapter will include science all along the way, hand in hand with exploration. I've recently said to our science community, buckle up everybody, we're going for a ride to the moon.
Oh, geez, that's great. Is the lighting halfway decent?
It's been 50 years since a human set foot on the moon. The next step for the Artemis mission will be putting a crew in lunar orbit by 2024, and then 2 astronauts on the moon the following year.
That sounds like a familiar problem.
But NASA doesn't plan to stop there. It's setting its sights on Mars.
Proving out all the logistics of the habitats and the hatches and the suits and the rovers and the wheels and all of that stuff, proving that out on the moon is just like Artemis 1 buying down risk for Artemis 2. It buys down the risk so when we go to Mars, we deal with the exposure of the radiation on the long term. We deal with the fact that we got to take all of our water and our food with us.
The Americans aren't the only ones with lunar ambitions. China also wants to land a crew on the moon by the end of the decade. The new space race for the 21st century is only just getting started.
Let's get some sports now. Barbados Royals are the champions of the inaugural Sky Edge Women's 60 tournament. Last evening in the final at Warner Park in St. Kitts, Royals defeated the rivals Trinbago Knight Riders, batting first. After being sent in, Royals were dismissed for 65 in 9.2 overs. Aliyah Aline top scored with 23. That included 3 fours and a 6, while captain Haley Matthews, who was also the player of the tournament, made 15 as those two put on 42 for the opening partnership. Both Anissa Mohammed and Soon Luce took 2 for 11. Knight Riders in reply were dismissed for just 50 in 9 overs for the Royals to win by 15 runs. Shakira Salman had impressive figures of 3 for 10. Let's look at the highlights. final, St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots are the champs. Night Riders batted first and were bowled out for 84 in 9.3 overs. Tim Seifert top scored with 37 not out. That included a 4 and 3 sixes, while Dominic Drakes took 2 for 17. The Pats in reply made 85 for 3 off 9.4 overs to win by 3 wickets. Evan Lewis, the skipper, led with 32 with 2 fours and 3 sixes, while the player of the series, Andre Fletcher, was unbeaten on 27 with 2 sixes. Tournament ambassador Chris Gale struck the winning runs in his knock of 15. Andre Russell took 2 for 11. That's sports this morning. Let's take a look at weather now. The temperature right now is about 28 degrees Celsius. It's pretty warm for this time of morning. It's partly cloudy on the outside. It's feeling like 33 degrees Celsius already. And the relative humidity is up to 84%. The barometric pressure is around 10-13 millibars, 10-12 millibars to be exact. And the winds are coming out of the east at 21 kilometers per hour. We'll see a low tide this morning at 11 a.m. There will be a high tide at 21 minutes after 5 in the afternoon. The seas are smooth to moderate in open water. Swells are between 1 and 1.5 meters and increasing. Today in Barbados, we'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief scattered light to moderate showers, mainly during the morning. And tonight, a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. And here's a quick look at the international weather forecast. And that's my time for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with headline news. Up next is Pearson with Mornin Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Well, as the song says, good morning to you indeed, and wake up, wake up, wake up. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today, Monday, the 29th of August, 2022. I'm Pearson Bowen, welcoming all of you here, there, and everywhere, joining us on our YouTube and Facebook streams. Always wonderful having you company. Now, coming up today, Monday, apart from us asking you to unscramble the letters, apart from us giving you a chance to win some bottles of water thanks to NPR Water Filtration, we'll also be introducing you to the new president of the YWCA. She is recently installed with a brand new board, and so we'll be hearing about what's next, what are the plans for the resurgence of the YWCA right here in Barbados. The Metropolitan Old Scholars Association, they too are actively engaged in living out the legacy of their founder, the late Olivier Cox. And so as they come together, they're raising funds to reward some people with scholarships and a whole lot more. We'll hear about the plans. We'll get to meet some of the executive members in just a little while as well. In our conversations on CARICOM this morning, Ambassador Commichon comes by as we take a look at Haiti and the ongoing work there in Haiti as the special heads of government meeting was held to bring some solution to what's happening there. Plus, he'll tell us what happened in Jamaica, where he was recently in celebration of the Marcus Garvey Day. ICA Youth Farm Program is on and it wraps up shortly, but we want to hear how it's been going and what they've been up to. And so let's get started this morning by taking a look at Thursday's start to the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum 2022 right here in Barbados, the coming together of two regions. And so this morning we want to hear what they are doing and what we can expect out of it. And in just a little while we'll be joined by, right now, Anne Greenwich, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Invest Barbados, and with her is Temwa Gorengwa, who is the Senior Manager Trade Facilitation with the Afro-XM Bank. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you, Kate. Kate, now over 750 people will be here on the island for Thursday's start. That's a lot of people. My first question is, why are we doing this now?
President, the time is right. We've always wanted to go back and forge some linkages with the African continent, and why not do it now? This is coming out of the inaugural CARICOM and African Summit, Heads of Summit that happened last year. And during that 4-day visit, the government and Afrexim Bank, identify the 2022 Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum as a key strategic activity towards institutionalizing the engagement between the two regions, both the private sector and the public sector. So 1 year later, because that forum happened in September 2021, 1 year later, we are now making it a reality at the Lord Erskine Sandifer Center.
I think it also gives us the opportunity to realign our sights, because oftentimes we think trade happens with North America. But here it is now, we have brothers and sisters in huge Africa that's also burgeoning with development, and an opportunity for us now to be able to link with them and see how we can also benefit from that experience. Isn't it okay?
Oh, certainly, definitely. We began or looked into Africa even from 2018. And there's a lot of innovation, a lot of excitement, a lot of opportunities that should, if we just set our sights on them, we will be able to forge those partnerships and relationships that is needed for the two regions to come together. They'd be really a powerhouse to be reckoned with.
So there's hopefully a demystifying of all the myths that we've heard over the years, and enlightening people as to what's that vast continent to offer. Who comes to this meeting?
So we have a number of heads of state, both from the Caribbean, because it is an Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum, so both from the Caribbean as well as Africa. And then business persons, both again from the Caribbean as well as Africa, coming together in one place, and the Lord Erskine Sandifer Center in Barbados, to have those conversations.
These conversations hopefully eventually will influence policy, because if that doesn't happen at that level, nothing happens.
Hence, that's why we have all the heads of states here also, to make sure everybody is there participating in this inaugural and historic event.
Indeed. And so, Temwa Gorengwa, you come as an experienced development practitioner from Africa. So there's a lot that we can learn from your experience as well. Now, tell us what you know of the Caribbean, firstly, and what benefits do you think can be derived from this inaugural expo?
It has been an awesome experience coming over to this region. When you look around, it's clear that the Caribbean is just an extension of Africa in terms of cuisine, in terms of culture, and so on. It's actually very surprising and unfortunate that this has not translated into trade and investment from Africa to the Caribbean, and also from the Caribbean to Africa. And that's why Active 2022, the Africa Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum, gives us this unique historic moment where we are breaking this trade barrier that has existed for so long. So we are happy to be coming here. Africa is ready to trade and invest with the Caribbean. The African Export-Import Bank, who are co-convening this forum together with the Government of Barbados, Invest Barbados, and Export Barbados. We think we are at the cusp of making history and ensuring that finally there is meaningful commercial ties between Africa and the Caribbean.
There's always a lot of skepticism about the balance, the trade imbalance, as some people would like to term it. So how do you deal with that kind of perception by people who think big old Africa is coming to little old Caribbean and trying to impose themselves upon us, or to have that balance tipped in their favor? How do you respond to that perception?
I think there's, in the different regions, there's competitive advantages in different aspects. For example, we can see that in services, the Caribbean may have a lot of competitive advantage looking at tourism and other areas. Looking into Africa, I think there's room there for increasing exports in goods into the Caribbean, manufactured commodities and so on. I think the fact of the matter is trade between Africa and the Caribbean is less than 1% of trade. We, as you rightly pointed out at the beginning, we are trading, Africa is trading rather with Europe, with the US, with Asia. Similarly, the Caribbean is also trading with the US and with the UK and Europe. But we're not trading amongst each other. So I think it's about creating opportunities and a mutual trade and investment ecosystem that translates into positive outcomes, positive development outcomes for the people in the two regions.
So Kay, this obviously redounds significantly to the benefit of the Caribbean, but we're going to talk Barbados specifically now as we are Invest Barbados. What do you see are some of the opportunities really to have meaningful exchanges with the Afri-Exim Bank?
Yes, there are vast opportunities really and truly. We're looking for investors in any sector. And of course, there are certain sectors that we'll be pushing, which is like the fintech sector, the agri-processing sector, etc. But of course, we will also be looking, as Temwa rightfully said, in terms of exporting our services and even our products into Africa through Export Barbados. So the opportunities are vast. We are looking really to promote trade and investment between the Africa and the Caribbean by serving as that platform for market identification and building business partnerships, exchange of trade and market information, co-investment, and so on. So the opportunities that we see are extremely vast in a variety of sectors.
Phrase that a little differently. Average Barbadian watching on and listening on are going to say, you know, that's for you guys who operate at that level. And how do we break this down so that the average Barbadian sees himself benefiting also from those discussions that will unfold in the forum coming up starting Thursday?
Okay, well, let's put it this way. Even before the forum starts on Thursday, they're bringing almost between 750 persons and 1,000 persons to this island. Already, there's benefits going down to the average Barbadian. Taxi operators, hotel operators, restaurants, the normal traffic through Bridgetown, all the services, even putting on the actual forum, all the services that we had to engage to get the forum up and ready, from building of cubicles, signage, everything. So there's so many service providers in the average Barbadians that have benefited already, and the forum has not actually started. In terms of after the forums, of course, there are business persons here from Africa, there are business persons here from the Caribbean. Those conversations begin. We link persons together with their counterparts or interested projects that they want to. And again, that could only expand into successful relationships and building those bridges, and obviously business for the Caribbean and business for Africa. So there are lots and lots of benefits, and those benefits have already started with the average man.
So Temwa, when we come to this forum then, what is our posture? What kind of posture would you want us so that we can see movement forward and not just be a talk shop, that we actually see policy being worked on, that the framework is laid out? What do we come with?
Thank you very much for that question. When we come to the forum, this is not a talk shop. And as Kay has been saying, already as we're speaking now, even before the forum, we have been matchmaking business persons from the Caribbean and Africa to already discuss investment projects, trade deals, and so on and so forth. So that is already ongoing. So the focus is not on talking. The focus is on closing deals. The focus is on identifying investment opportunities that can immediately be supported. And as African Export-Import Bank, we will bring our best in terms of financing those investments, financing those transactions, because it is only when trade begins that real integration between Africa and the Caribbean is going to hold. Without trade, it is all about, it remains a talk shop. But when those conversations begin, perhaps even we need to begin to look at having a free trade area, a trade agreement of some sort between Africa and the Caribbean. Africa has got trade agreements with the whole world, with the US, with the UK, with Europe, and so on. It has agreements with countries in South America, but Africa has no agreement, no trade agreement with the Caribbean. And that is one tangible outcome that we want to see coming out from this forum, so that we get those conversations going and ensure that we follow through in terms of deliverables, both in Africa, but also in the Caribbean.
There's so much that both of you have said this morning that truly excites us indeed. And so we can't wait for that forum to start on Thursday, running right through till Saturday, where, just as Kay said, almost 1,000 people will be here on the island to engage with the Afrexim Bank and to us all, really, to be able to collaborate in ways and see how we can enhance trade and investment with our brothers and sisters on the African continent. And we want to wish only success with the investment forum. Thank you so much, Kay and Greenwich, Chief Executive Officer of Invest Barbados, and Temwa Gorengwa, who's the Senior Trade Facilitation with the Afrexim Bank. So much to your title already, Temwa, but nonetheless, we're happy to have you in Barbados, and much success with the efforts. Thank you.
Thank you
very much, Jason.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Morning Barbados takes a break here. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We have 15 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock. I did tell you that ICA is having a youth farm program on. It's running until the 26th. Hey, it ran. It's concluded. Today is the 29th after all. And so Kieran Rice has been a participant in the youth farm program in 2016. He's now a field administrator and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Kieran.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. How do you do?
I'm well myself.
You so had such a good time in 2016 that you decided in 2022 you're going to be one of the field administrators. What is it about farming that keeps you so riveted and connected?
It's just the love that I have for it. It started from a very young age, so since then it's just been nurtured and it's grown. So I thought that this year I would come back and return what someone else did for me.
What kind of farming do you do?
I am a livestock farmer.
In what livestock? Sheep, cows, or all types?
I currently raise black belly sheep and a few cows.
And so the benefit of the ICA Farm program, talk to me about what you benefited from in 2016 that really made your eyes pop and think, you know what, I need to stick with this, I can come back in 2022.
So in 2016, I would have gained the skills to farm, and not just as a hobby, but more so as a commercial farm, and take it a lot more seriously and make a living from it, which is something that I didn't really see agriculture as back then. For me, it was a hobby, and after doing the program, I decided that this is what I wanted to do full time, and I want to eventually make a career from it.
You know, there are a lot of young people who will probably look at you and think, yeah, farming, how you back is sport, my man, all that hot sun and out there slaving so hard behind animals, but you see it differently. So help us paint for us the picture that you see and the benefits that you truly see from farming.
Well, for me, is the whole process when you get to watch the animals be born and you take care of them throughout the life, and then you finally get them to the stage where you're able to sell them, and you then it'll go from being something that you would have been dealing with every day to then being someone's meal, and you get to create amazing dishes from these animals, and is really exciting.
How do you stay
farm to table experience.
How do you stay focused? Because we also hear predial larceny and raising livestock. They can sometimes be very vulnerable because pests and other things happen. So how do you stay focused so that you see the benefit truly in farming?
Well, you have to have a love for it first, and yes, predial larceny and those other things. As long as you have the love for agriculture, then no matter what happens, you tend to always bounce back from it and take a different outlook on what you could have done differently to prevent certain things, and that's just something that I've grown to understand over the time.
We're now joined by Daniel Best, who is a technical officer with TVET Council, who are also partnering with ICA on this. Daniel, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Pearson.
This no doubt ties right into what TVET sets out to do, to be able to provide skills and opportunities for young people to be able to develop themselves and to develop business here. Talk to me about the association with ICA and some of the benefits coming out of this youth farm program.
Well, TVET Council and ICA have been in a relationship since about 2015, and we have over the years, particularly in the summer, been working with them in the youth farming program. And this program, the program ultimately ends up giving the candidates an opportunity to achieve the Caribbean Vocational Qualification or the National Vocational Qualification. And this qualification puts them in a very good position where they can enter the world of work, understanding and a good grasp of the concepts and so on associated with that particular occupational area, particularly the crop production, livestock rearing, and so on that are part of the youth farm program. The attainment of the CVQ also allows them to be able to further their education should they want to do so at the end of the program. Well, as you may have heard, the programs are level 1 programs, and level 1 programs, level 1 CVQs and AVQs are entry level, so it provides them with a basis for the particular occupational area. And so if they want to continue on and build on that, making the experience a career, they can do so. If they want to further themselves in terms of studying, they can do so. There's also the opportunity, even though it may not reflect on the level 1, for them to move to other territories in the Caribbean to work, because the CVQ is also provides them with an opportunity where they can move to any other Caribbean territory to work.
So this provides a level of certification at level 1 for anyone who's interested in farming indeed. So that means that there is a course of study that you undertake over the period of time. Can you break that down and help us understand how practical it is or theoretical it is, so that we can see the certification with the CVQ at the end?
Well, the CVQ is a very hands-on program. At the end of the program, you end up being the outcome is not a pass or fail. You end up being competent or not yet competent. And what that suggests is that you have all the knowledge, or you have the knowledge and it's relevant to that particular occupational area. And the basis of the CVQ is an occupational standard. And occupational standards give a very detailed outlook of what an occupation contains, or what an individual who is working in a particular occupational area is expected to be able to do. On completion of the training, the candidate should be able to demonstrate all the various, to complete all the various tasks as it relates to that particular occupational area. For example, in crop production, there's a unit called entitled Plant a Crop by Hand. So when the candidate goes through that experience, he or she is going to go through that experience, utilizing the knowledge, the theory aspect, and then get an opportunity to practice planting a crop by hand. So when they actually get into the world of work and they are asked to do so, they can do so according to the standard.
So it's quite intense indeed. And so we're now also joined by Dr. Roxanne Wade, who is a technical specialist with ICA. Good morning to you, Dr. Wade.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome indeed. Now, this is truly a tremendous opportunity for our young people, but it's also a tremendous opportunity for the peoples of the Caribbean to see a cohort of young people coming through to feed the Caribbean. And I know that's also a lot of what you're very interested in finding new ways to excite people in agriculture as well at ICA. So talk to me about why ICA sees this to be such an investment and why we people of the Caribbean need to also engage with this farm youth program.
Okay, well, Pearson, the truth of the matter is we've been around in Barbados since 1976. 46 years we've been working with Barbados and the Ministry of Agriculture to support the efforts for achieving agricultural development. And really and truly, the Youth Farm Program is designed to support the government's focus on youth involvement in agriculture, and especially the incorporation of technology. We recognize that the young people are the ones who will feed our future, and we consider that the Youth Farm Program is an important activity to support the government's efforts at reducing the food import bill.
So it's building capacity. It's building that capacity within the region, and in particularly in Barbados, as we're speaking more specifically, for us to be able to have a cohort of people who are advancing agriculture and feeding the people.
Exactly so. And the thing is, right now, even though the youth farm is located in Barbados, we do have a regional and hemispheric focus. So, for example, this year we had 9 Antiguan delegates coming through to do the Youth Farm Program, including teachers who are going to take back what they've learned using the occupational standards into their respective schools in Antigua and Barbuda. We've also had candidates from Saba and St. Eustatius in the past, and we're hoping to see more candidates from throughout the wider Caribbean take part in the Youth Farm Program going forward.
So this program targets students and people who are teaching in agriculture as well. It's so multifaceted indeed. But what I love about the whole experience is it's not just sitting before the chalkboard and someone lectures at you. It's extremely practical. Tell me, break it down for us so that we can see how by the end of it that we are truly churning out people who are very able in agriculture.
Okay, so the training program consists of 7 weeks of in-class instruction and field work on crop production, aquaculture, or livestock production, depending on which area the candidate has chosen. There's a day release scheme for 2 days a week, commencing in week 3 of the program and ending in week 6. And of course, we also do some professional development training. So you're right, Pearson, it's not just about sitting in the classroom. The workshops are in class, and then they have the farm labs where whatever they've learned in the workshops, they have to go and do the practical elements in the field. And of course, that is also strengthened by what we call, like I said, the day release program, where we get to work where the candidates actually go out and work with employers in the agri-food sector. So it's multidimensional, and we're making sure they get every element involved during that short 8-week period that they have with us.
You know, Daniel, when you think about it, there was a time when we thought that farming was simply for those who could not do better, who failed at school and formal education and the like. But now we're realizing that farming is far more interesting than we first thought.
Yeah.
And so TVET is encouraging youngsters to really get involved in this.
Yes, very much so. And there are much, as I would have mentioned previously, there are benefits to it. I would have mentioned about 4 benefits, but there are a lot more benefits that persons who are involved in this youth farm program can benefit from. Yeah.
Kieran, do you regret having entered? And if not, tell young people who are watching today why they too themselves can see farming, whether it is in livestock or even in aquaculture. Why should they see farming as a very viable venture?
No, I don't regret joining the program. If I could, I would do it over again. Agriculture, it has a lot of opportunities. It's not just the old-time understanding of being a hoe and a fart and being out in the pasture. There are a lot of different avenues to agriculture. You know, like weed specialists and persons trained in varying areas to help improve what we have and to help the industry go forward. And something on in it, well, you may feel that there is that a particular thing has to be kept to a certain area, is not. Agriculture spans across just about every other industry.
People eat, so therefore there's a need for farmers, and farmers in all sorts of areas. And so ICA, no doubt, is supporting this, continuing to support us, Dr. Roxanne. Is it an annual summer opportunity?
Yes, the ICA Youth Farm program, we hold it every summer just as the students get out into their summer vacations. They spend the entire summer with us, and as Kieran just mentioned, they never regret it.
So we're looking forward to the next summer, next year indeed.
Of course, we have applications already.
Oh, this is fantastic indeed. I am not even a farmer, and I feel like farming right now from all of this experience. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. To excited about this, and congratulations to all who have gone through this year's cohort. Congratulations to each of you indeed. Dr. Roxanne Wade, technical specialist with ICA. Kieran Rice, who's one of the participants in 2016, now a field administrator in 2022. And Daniel Best, technical officer with Tibet. All the best indeed going forward, but thank you so much for the journey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too, Pearson.
You are very welcome. We'll take a break right here on Morning Barbados, and when we come back, we'll share with you the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
A pleasant good morning to you. I'm Shane Seeley with headline news on this Monday. The National Insurance Scheme has announced plans to enhance the level of compliance to ensure employers are paying contributions on behalf of workers. NIS Director Kim Tudor gave the assurance last night on TV8's The People's Business, which focused on the topic NIS the Way Forward. She gave an update on an amnesty which saw 198 employers coming forward under a payment plan where some $22 million was owed to the NIS.
Once they're able to pay off that, we would waiver the interest, some portion of that. If they are able to complete it within the 2 years, we will waive the entire interest. And if they're not able to complete in the 2 years, then we would waive probably 90%, 70%. So that was to the tune of 22 million. But we don't want employers to wait until that happens. We want them to come forward and proactively enter discussions and negotiations with us. Equally, we're going to step up our compliance in terms of early notification to employers that we haven't seen the payments. On the other hand, as I've been saying, we do have a portal, and employees as well as self-employed persons can register on the portal, and you can check the portal on a monthly basis, a weekly basis, a daily basis if you have that time, and check to see that your employer is making the payments for you.
The NIS director, however, warns that the scheme can take action against delinquent employers for failing to make required contributions.
The Act allows us to charge 1% on the balance outstanding, and in addition to those outstanding contributions, we are allowed to secure it by a judgment certificate. That judgment certificate prohibits employers from borrowing money from registered financial institutions without paying the outstanding balance or making some kind of arrangement with NIS. So if you owe for an outstanding amount of time, you've made no arrangements with us, you've ignored all our warnings, we can go forward for a judgment certificate against the business. And we have several.
Meanwhile, actuary Derek Osborne is confident the NIS can improve compliance while encouraging more Barbadian workers and self-employed individuals to sign on to the scheme. He says national insurance has proven its worth as a safety net for Barbadians, especially in its response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Like during COVID, there's $150 million paid out in unemployment benefits. The people lost their job for 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 25 weeks. NIS was there, and if we can show the informal sector workers that even when COVID hit, the government had to step in to give them some support. NIS could be there for them when they get sick, when they have a baby, or when they get old.
In other news this morning, Barbados has recorded 86 new COVID-19 cases, 47 males and 39 females. From the 507 tests carried out on Saturday, August 27th, by laboratories across the island, the cases comprised 10 individuals under the age of 18 and 76 who were 18 years and older. The number of people in isolation facilities was 90, while 1,699 people were in home isolation. Under the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19, the total number of people who are fully vaccinated stands at 154,370. And finally, let's look at some sports. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots are the champs of the inaugural Skyetch Men's 60 tournament. They beat the Trinbago Knight Riders in the final. TKR batted first and were bowled out for 84 in 9.3 overs. Tim Seifert top scored with 37 not out. That included a 4 and 3 sixes, while Dominic Drakes took 2 for 17. The Pats in reply made 85 for 3 off 9.4 overs to win by 3 wickets. The skipper, Evan Lewis, he led the way with 32 with a knock of 2 4s and 3 6s, while the player of the series, Andre Fletcher, was unbeaten on 27 with 2 6s. Tournament ambassador Chris Gill struck the winning runs in his knock of 15. Andre Russell took 2 for 11. You can check out the highlights tonight in CBC Sports Night. And that's our news for this morning. I'm Shane Seeley. We'll take a break here, and Pearson will be back with more of Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It is time now for this week's edition of Conversations on CARICOM, and joining us as we have those conversations on Mondays is Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Commichon. Ambassador Commichon, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. Pleasure to be here with you.
It is always good to see you. Sorry I missed last week. I'm sorry I missed the report on Marcus Garvey Day. I am so sorry for so many things. But nonetheless, I paid a little bit of attention as best I could to what was happening. But you were in Jamaica recently. And so at the invitation of IRI FM, and so you had a chance also while there to meet with Granger. Talk to me a little bit about that experience.
Yes, well, I was taken to Jamaica by IRI FM to participate in their annual Marcus Garvey celebration. And where incidentally, I spoke about the road to the Republic,
yes,
and kind of encouraging Jamaica to make the same journey that Barbados has made. But of course, I took the opportunity to engage in a number of meetings that further my work as ambassador of Barbados, ambassador to CARICOM. And incidentally, many Barbadians might not be aware, but I am Barbados's non-resident High Commissioner to Jamaica. So I had meetings with representatives of the Jamaica private sector, the media in Jamaica, our own Julian Rogers, who is managing editor at the Observer newspaper, and most importantly, with Jamaica's Minister with responsibility for sports, entertainment, gender and culture, the Honorable Olivia Babsy Grange, and a team of officials from her ministry. And it was a tremendous meeting. And, you know, it is going to give me a lot of work, a lot of follow-up work, but good work, because it's very constructive. Actually, we are moving rapidly towards signing an agreement for cooperation between Barbados and Jamaica, and the establishment of a joint economic, technical, and cultural commission between Barbados and Jamaica. And in my mind, the thinking is that, look, you know, Barbados has looked very strongly towards the Southern Caribbean with the relations that we are fostering with Guyana and Suriname in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But we must also have a very strong outreach to the Northern Caribbean as well. And so, you know, we are talking Jamaica. And there's so many areas in which Barbados and Jamaica can collaborate and help each other.
You know, such areas, because I also read her report, and she talked about how you collaborated. We want to collaborate on culture, gender, entertainment, sports. You had a chance to discuss reparations. It was quite in depth, that exchange.
Oh, extremely so. In fact, that conversation went on for over 3 hours. And yes, I'm very impressed with the programs that Jamaica has in relation to gender, equality for women, against domestic violence and so forth. And I think there's much scope for collaboration between the two countries in that area. Many sports programs as well. I mean, Jamaica, for example, has an insurance program for its national athletes. So any athlete who represents Jamaica nationally, if that person is injured, there is an insurance scheme to provide for them. I think Barbados, we don't have to you know, duplicate what is already there. Perhaps we could just seamlessly join that scheme. Jamaica has an institute for training and certification of coaches. Perhaps Barbados can make use of that institution. So there's so many areas, as we discussed, it became clear that the two countries would really profit from by working together. And we specifically, we agreed that we are going to, in the area of reparations, we are going to bring the two national reparations committees together. We're going to come together. We're going to brainstorm the way forward and how we can work together. And we're going to work towards an international webinar involving our own prime ministers and other top dignitaries in the field of reparations. So, right across the board, Pearson, in all areas, we're going to look at that Jamaica's reggae industry, how Barbadians can invest in that industry and benefit from it. And yes, so education, technical and vocational training, I mean, you name it. All of these areas are really pregnant for collaboration between the two countries.
What I like is that we're putting aside all of the petty emotions that would have happened in the past, so we can really have real meaningful integration, benefiting one from the other, from the experience which we individually have. And so I'm excited about what that relationship with Jamaica could really unfold for a lot of us here in Barbados as well. So great work. Now, there was also recently a special heads meeting on Haiti. Haiti is still in the news, lest people think it is not. It is very much still in the news. Lots of things are still happening there, accusations being thrown one way or the other. What did this special heads meeting agree so that we can see some real effective change on Haiti?
Yes, well, this meeting was actually held in Trinidad on the 20th of August. Many of our heads of government were in Trinidad for the Agri-Investment Forum. We had the initial Agri-Investment Forum in Guyana, and this was a follow-up in Jamaica. But while they were there for that, they took the opportunity to have the second meeting of this special heads committee. We have a special heads committee. It consists of the CARICOM Bureau, which is Suriname, Bahamas, and Belize, but it also then includes 3 countries with a special interest in Haiti: Barbados, Jamaica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And CARICOM has a special officer who is continuing to follow Haiti. So he was able to give a report on most recent developments. The interim Prime Minister of Haiti, Ariel Henry, he also was able to give a report. And basically, Pearson, much of the same. The situation continues. In fact, the situation continues to deteriorate. I think the only bright spot in recent weeks has been that a number of countries, the US, Canada, France, for example, are giving support to the Haitian police, and we are seeing an improvement in the performance of the Haitian police. And finally, the Haitian police are beginning to go after some of the gangs, to arrest people. Recently they've intercepted weapons being smuggled into Haiti. So that is one bright spot. But everything else, I mean, the gangs still continue to increase in their destructive activity. Perhaps about half of the population of Haiti is food insecure or has limited access to basic foods. So, and the political and civil society organizations that were supposed to be coming together to talk to each other, to craft a Haitian solution to the crisis, basically those efforts have failed thus far. There are 2 groups. There's the September 11th group, which was put together by the interim Prime Minister, and there's the Montana group, which is much more of a big civil society group. And they were supposed to be trying to talk to each other and to negotiate a way forward. Hasn't really happened. So out of the meeting that we held, it became clear that CARICOM really, we are forging ahead. We are setting up some special envoys to represent CARICOM. So far, they have been, we have had 2 names come forward: former Prime Minister of Jamaica and a former Prime Minister of the Bahamas. Once they're going to be in place, they're going to be supported by a CARICOM technical team. They're going to start first with virtual consultations with important Haitian actors. All of that is going to lead up to a high-level CARICOM team of heads of government actually going into Haiti. And then that in turn will lead towards probably a special meeting, probably in the Bahamas, of the most important Haitian stakeholders to really map out the way forward. The way forward that will lead to new elections, will lead to a better security situation. And in the meantime, the Haitians are saying to CARICOM, look, whatever technical support you can give with helping to beef up the national police and to deal with the law and order infrastructure, we want that support. But most importantly, what we need from CARICOM now is, because CARICOM is trusted in Haiti, we need you to help us put in place this process of national consultations where we can bring together this divided society and actually come up with some realistic way of going forward. So CARICOM is still very much on the cards. We are working towards it, perhaps not as fast as some of us would like to see, but we are taking deliberate and measured steps.
You know, I keep hearing it, I keep thinking the race is not for the swift, but for those who endure. And certainly CARICOM will endure on this one, because Haiti is, after all, our brother. And so we want to be able to, as brothers and sisters in this, to be able to stand by them and to help them resolve what it is that they're going through. Takes time, but we'll get there. And then there's the coming together of the Africa and Caribbean. And this forum starts on Thursday. And a real rich opportunity for us to mine each other and to grow and to learn from each other.
Well, if there is good, positive CARICOM news, this is it. And Bajans, it is happening. It is happening right here. It's a follow-up to that Africa CARICOM Heads of Government Summit we had last year. The first Africa Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum. It's right here in Barbados at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. Some 700 African businessmen, investors, representatives of important business organizations will be coming into Barbados. Well, it starts, the first working session starts on Thursday, but it actually starts on Wednesday with a reception at the Barbados Museum for our visitors. But I want the message to go out to the members of the Barbadian community who may not have been paying attention. Look, if you as a business person in Barbados, if you think that you have a business enterprise or business idea that just needs investment, you need to be at this conference. If you have a business and you would like to get into the African market, you're looking for a partner, you're looking for an investor, you need to be at this conference. If you believe that, for example, in the cultural industries, that there's scope for Caribbean cultural practitioners to merge with African cultural practitioners. I mean, we just had Africa's Burna Boy in Barbados. Yes. If you believe that there are synergies to be had, you need to be at that conference. If you are a small business person, small, medium, if you're a young person in business, you need to be there. And it's not too late. You can still go on the website and you can still register. Just Google Africa Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum. The website is going to come up. If you're just coming as a participant to listen, to meet people, to network, it's not going to cost you to register. If you want to come as an exhibitor, to exhibit your business, that costs you something. But it's not too late. And you know, Pearson, what is so sad? The first thing I saw on my WhatsApp this morning was a message from a very important business person out of Trinidad and Tobago, regretfully telling me that try as he has, he simply cannot get a flight into Barbados. That the next flight available is the 9th of September. And this is really tragic, because we have now reached the stage in the Caribbean where the lack of airline services is hampering our integration integration movement, you know. So that was bad news, but people are coming. When I was in Jamaica, I took the opportunity to speak with representative of the Jamaican private sector, also with Minister Grange. Her ministry, they are going to be sending an investment proposal, and so yes, Barbadians really need to be there. This is a priceless opportunity to make contact with the African business community.
Yes, indeed. So much going on. I hope this puts a smile on your face now. You know, we've had callers to our calling program who are so very pleased with your performance, sir, as ambassador to CARICOM. And I just wanted to share that with you, that the people are paying attention to your work and they're very happy with your performance thus far. Thank you so much.
Well, you know, it's a passion for me, Pearson.
Yes,
so
I know.
I spent my whole adult life in whether it's Caribbean, Africa. So it's really a passion for me. And just to let you know, I'll be going off to Belize on Sunday. I'm going to present my credentials as the non-resident High Commissioner to Belize. But Barbados is also seeking to forge a special relationship with Belize. So maybe next Monday we'll try to do the program from Belize. I'll see how that goes.
That is my hope too. Thank you so much, Ambassador Kamishong. And you know, may the winds be with you, always driving you forward. Keep it up, my friend. Take a very good day indeed. Thank you so much, Ambassador David Kamishong, Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM. Thank you too. We'll take a break here on Morning Barbados. You're welcome. We'll take a break here on Morning Barbados. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
27.5 minutes after 7 o'clock, time for you to win some water with NPure water filtration. That question still remains unanswered, and it is your job to answer it correctly to win yourself a case of Bajan Pure purified water. What's the question? There it is again. Spin and it lands. What images can you find on the labels used on the Bajan Pure water bottle during the crop over season? What images? And don't tell me the Pride of Barbados or the Bajan Pure. I'm looking beyond it. There's some images of characters. What are those characters? 228-5562 or 228-5563 are the numbers for you to call. So tell me what character or images of characters can you find on the labels used on the Bajan Pure water bottles that were used during the crop over season? What are those characters you see? Hate. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Answer correctly and you can win a case of Bajan Pure purified water. Good morning to you. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, how are you today, madam?
I'm fine.
Oh, wonderful. What parish are you watching from?
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas, okay. What's your answer for me?
Stiltman, Mother Sally, and Itotban.
Is that all that you saw?
Yeah.
And you have the bottle with you at the moment?
Yes.
You actually literally have it in your hand?
Yes.
Show me. Just teasing you. Look carefully again. So you say to me the stilt walker, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying to me that you see a Mother Sally.
Yeah, and the top band.
And a top band. 1, 2, 3. Stilt walker. Da, 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 da. Nothing else?
No, just
Look carefully. Can you see by the stilt walker? Can you see who's standing by the stilt walker?
Mother Sally, a lady in
You
pink.
sure? Now, if you go further across, you see a Mother Sally with the top band.
Oh, yeah.
So over there by the stilt...
There's a crop over lady. Lady is a crop over.
There's something called a crop over lady? For real? So let's take it a female lady, a female in costume. All right, let's just take it as that. Yeah. Well done. You're absolutely right. So you've tried your Bajan Pure Purified Water, haven't you?
Yes, of course.
Smooth to taste, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watch your answer here. All right. Well, you've won yourself now a case of Bajan Pure Purified Water. Good to go. What's your first name?
Sheldine.
Sheldine, all right. Congratulations to you. Stay on the phone, Sheldine. We'll take some other information from you, but Sheldine, has answered correctly. There's a stilt walker, a female reveler, and the tut band, and Mother Sally indeed. So well done. That's all on the Bajan Pure Purified Water. We're going to take a break here. We're coming back, and when we come back, we'll be meeting with the executive of the Old Scholars of Metropolitan School.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
28 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. I could see the uniform right here in my eyes. I could see the location of the school right there on Roebuck Street. I can see the Metropolitan School. And so the Old Scholars have formed, and they are doing tremendous things, all in the memory of their late Principal Olivia Cox. And so joining us this morning as we look at the great work that they've been doing is Jan Linsky, my friend, who is the president of the Metropolitan Old Scholars Association. She's brought with her her vice president of member relations, and Mark Taylor, and Myrna Farnham, who's a floor member. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, Jan Lynn, you're the president, my lady of Glendalough. Good morning to you indeed. Jan set for me the stage now. You formed your Old Scholars. You were formed back in 2020. Why have you come together?
The initial coming together was actually in 2018. We lost a classmate quite tragically, and everybody, we went to the funeral, and it decided that we need to get together for better things, etc. So we finally got formed as a proper unit in 2020. We were meeting and we were having fun, but to do more for the community, which was our objective, we formed an association.
There are many people who think now the Metropolitan School has closed. Am I right?
That's right, yes, it closed in 2018.
See, I'm getting old and forgetful. But the Metropolitan School provided a wonderful platform for so many Barbadians. Let's celebrate the Metropolitan School and Olivia Cox specifically right now, if you don't mind. Share with us.
Yeah, Mr. Cox. The school actually ran for 54 years before it closed. He opened in September 1964, probably before you were born. It was one of the longest running private schools, black-owned private schools on the island at the time of its closure. At the peak of its popularity, he had a roll of over 800 students. Obviously, that changed with the times, but Mr. Cox catered primarily to poor parents. Only yesterday, we got together with some students who were there in the 60s, some from the very beginning, and they related to us stories of how there were 9 of them that mommy had to send to school, and Mr. Cox took the fees and he did what he could to make sure that all of them came through one after the other. As one left, another one came in. And I can say the same for me. I remember when we went for the interview, the fees were, the principal sum was $66 a term. And my mother would have been sending 2 of us. So he gave me a little test, and within minutes I was just paying half. So he did what he could to make sure that those who came through the school could afford the education and stay as long as possible.
Myrna, I saw you nodding away while I was talking about the school at the beginning there. So clearly you too have very fond memories of that institution, Metropolitan School.
Of course I do. I love it. We got bursaries, and so on, and we got scholarships, by some of them that we really appreciate everything. At school. Cox was known for education as well as music. Musically, he used to play the organ at the Methodist over 25 years. So we remember at school him each morning he would play the piano. We had to but we got praise. So we had a great time with Mr. Cox.
Mark, pulling people together, finding the members and encouraging people to be a part of the Old Scholars Association, that's your remit now. So talk to me a little bit about who, not just who by name necessarily, so that we make sure that people know the association exists and that they can be members of it. How you do go about doing that?
Good morning to you. Good morning. Afternoon here. But, what happened is that we have a website whereby people can log on to. We also have WhatsApp group, and we have people, migration have taken some of us different places in the world. And so what happened is we have people working in other areas to bring former students together so that they can be able to see and know what's happening. That that the school name is going to be living on for a long time, long after we have been there. So the school name is going to be going for many years after, even after we are gone. We still expect the school to be going.
And you're quite right on that. I mean, no one can forget the Metropolitan Jan Lane. And so you establish yourself to encourage friendly relationships among former students, to establish a scholarship fund, to recognize the contributions of the principal, the late principal, Mr. Olivier Cox, to education, and to establishing and operating a social outreach program. And just recently, you've made a very special presentation. Talk to me about that presentation to the Ministry of Education.
Yes, through the generous donations of our members and some sponsors, we were able to purchase and donate 10 fire tablets with the hard cases to the Ministry of Education last Thursday, because that actually marked the first anniversary of its death. So we wanted to do something meaningful. We wanted to give something back. So we did that last week. We also made a presentation of some funds to the nursery. Although the school closed, Mr. Cox had several businesses on Roebuck Street. He had the Metropolitan Institute, the bookshop, and there's a nursery. So the building is in dire need of repair. So we have adopted that, and we have made a first donation to help with the rebuilding of the nursery so it can reopen, hopefully in January. We're hopeful that can happen, so that the Metropolitan Union still lives on in some form as we go forward.
So you're constantly giving back, but if you have to replenish, how do you seek to go about replenishing so that you can actually continue the work that you're doing?
A lot of fundraising. At the moment, every alternate Saturday, so every 2 Saturdays, we pitch our tent at the Leave in St. George, just outside St. George Parish Church. And we have some very popular fish cakes, fufu and salt fish, pudding and sauce, sweet bread, natural juices all made by Myrna. So that's doing well. We're becoming people remember us, people are coming, they're enjoying the food and knowing that they're supporting a worthy cause at the same time. So anybody who can donate the items, particularly for making that food, we would appreciate. And of course, we want you to come out and enjoy the food. So that's one aspect of it. Members pay a small dues, $10 a month. It's not huge, but it does help. And we have a food drive coming up too. Food supermarkets, we will announce as the dates and everything are finalized, but we are getting some barrels put into supermarkets because we have the community outreach as well. And last year we fed 15 families at Christmas, and we want to double that this year. So things in cans, dry goods, personal care products, that sort of thing, we would like donated. So donations are what we rely on. Really.
Well, that's fantastic. I love the whole give back effort. That's so very critical indeed. But there's something else that you're working on, the scholarship fund, and you're raising to be able to support others' education journey as well. So talk to me about the scholarship fund and how people can really pour into that fund so that we can see meaningful development.
Right. So Mr. Cox gave so much to us. We want to give something back. And we all know how difficult it was for our parents to make that piece every month, to buy the shoes, to do all the things that is necessary to send a child to school. So we want to give at least 3 children a year a start when they transition from primary to secondary school, or even to help in secondary school with supplies. So on his birthday next year, the 4th of February, when he will be 90, we're going to launch the scholarship fund. So people who donate to the scholarship fund, every cent that they donate will go to the scholarship fund. We use a part of the monthly dues towards the scholarship fund. We put money in, obviously from sales, etc. But if you contact us to say we want this money to go to the scholarship fund, every cent goes into that. We have a target of 5,000. We are almost at 2,500. So we are working, seriously to get that over there and then spill over. Once we hit 5,000, we're not stopping. That needle is going to go up, and we're going to keep working on that.
Now, any old scholar who's watching today, or someone who has, whether it's they themselves or a relative who've gone through the Metropolitan High School, who wants to donate, whether it is in kind or in cash, how can they do so?
As Mark mentioned, we have a website. It's MHSOSA. We call it MHSOSA, but it basically stands for Metropolitan High School All Scholars Association. So we have a website. They can email us there. They can pledge there. They can WhatsApp me on 836-8880. Obviously, if you're doing that from overseas, you have to include the area code of 246. We have the WhatsApp group. We have Mark in the UK. We have Philomena Lands in the USA. So you don't even have to make a local call. Once you contact us via the website, we can put you in touch with your rep in the area. We have USA and Canada represented on the one side, and we have the UK and the Europe on the other side. And we know that there are Metropolitan High School or scholars everywhere. Last year at his funeral, we had a calling from China, a young lady who went to school, is now living and working there. Yes. So we want to encourage anyone who went to Metropolitan High School, who went to the nursery. Currently, the team is made up of people from the 60s and the 70s. Now, we know that people went there in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. So we want to encourage them to get involved, to come on board and help us, because we know that together we can do it.
Mark, I'll give you a chance to make that appeal to some old scholars as well to come join. You're watching the website on the screen. So Mark, your turn. Appeal to them so that they can actually be a part of this group.
Yes, I wanted to say to all former Metropolitanians, once you have been through the doors of this school, we are asking you to join this grand occasion, join this grand group, because we are going places. We are leaving a legacy that we want everybody to be a part of, whoever set feet in the Metropolitan High School. So we are asking you to get in touch. Look for our website. Look for our WhatsApp group. Look for us, and you can find us and just get in touch. And we are willing to have you be a part of this team.
This is fantastic indeed. Janlyn, you and your team, congratulations. Glenda Yard is saying, thanks, Jan, my friend from old school days at MHS. The website is MHSOSA, MHSOSA.com. That's the website. There's a Facebook page as well. We want to encourage all past students of whether it is the nursery school or the secondary school, you would have purchased from the bookshop and you know the work of the Metropolitan High School. The Old Scholars wants you to come. You can, while on the website, you can see the executive, you can see what's on the plans. Little tiny Janlyn, Lady of Glendalough there, making the donation to the Ministry of Education, to the Chief Education Officer there at the Ministry of Education, indeed, of tablets. And they're doing great work, she and her team, and we want to encourage as many of you as possible to lend your support to the ongoing work of the Metropolitan High School. There they are engaging with the late Olivier Cots, who is the principal of the Metropolitan High School, the man behind the education of hundreds, perhaps thousands of Barbadians, and providing the opportunity for us to be able to excel and become, as each of those faces you see on the screen, very, very excellent in what they do as well. Thank you so much. Janlyn Skeet, the president, Mark Taylor, the vice president of member relations, and Myrna Farnham, a floor member of the Metropolitan High School Old Scholars Association. Best of luck going forward at all your activity, and I really hope that many more join you, because many hands do make light work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kirsten.
You're welcome indeed. Great work there from the Metropolitan High School Old Scholars Association. I encourage you, if you know someone, encourage them to go onto the website or the Facebook page and interact and donate. We're going to take a break here. We're coming back in just a minute.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
13 to 8 o'clock now. We're about to meet the president, the new president of the Young Women's Christian Association of Barbados. That new president is Carolyn Harding. Good morning to you, Miss Harding. Good. As she stops. Let's see if we resolve that matter with connection right there. Carolyn Harding is the new president of the YWCA. As you know, they have been in existence for quite a while here on the island. We know of the YWCA as much as we know of the YMCA. But who are they and what are their plans for 2022 and beyond? They say their aim is to mobilize membership and to recommence and implement new and important initiatives and programs. What are those programs? You see the faces of the executive right there on your screen, which include First Vice President Shania Tull, Susan Renee, who is the Second Vice President, Brenda Brathwaite, Assistant Secretary Treasurer, Mia Homer is the Honorary Treasurer, and Winifred Herwood, the Honorary Secretary as well. So Young Women's Christians Association of Barbados has a new president and a new executive to charge forward with the work of the Young Women's Christians Association here on the island. What do you know about that association? What do you understand about it indeed? And what are their plans going forward? I know COVID-19 would have impacted significantly on the ongoing work there. So it's almost like playing catch up, so to speak, because you want to get your programs up and running as robustly that's such a word, as they would have in the past. And so now the charge is to this new executive to be able to do so, to find ways of re-engaging with its publics so that they are able to effectively conduct the programs that they seek to do to bring that difference to the lives of young girls and young women on the island. And something tells me she's going to talk a little bit about moving beyond needlework and crochet and the like, even though those skill sets are still critical because one still has to have skills. But what else are they hoping to do? How are they engaging technology to be able to move forward? I hope I'm not talking out too much of her business as we try to work out that connection with her, so we have a smooth exchange of words and smooth exchange, because we're meeting her for the very first time. She's the president of the YWCA in Carolyn Hardin. So tell you what, while we try to resolve that and try to get her back on, can we do a little bit of the unscrambled letters? Let's do that. So let's do unscrambled while we try to work on the connection with the YWCA's new president. And if we can do so now, we can bring up the first word, and we give you a chance, folks watching at home, to give me a call on 228-5562 or 228-5563. See if you can work out this. Look at that. Those are 3 words on your screen. 3 words. 3 words. Work out that and give me a call. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What 3 words, when you unscramble them, the letters, will you find on your screen? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me now and tell me, when you unscramble these letters, the words you see on your screen. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, how do you do today, ma'am?
I am well, thank you. And yourself?
You're very welcome. I'm well too. Thank you for asking. What's your first name and what parish are you watching from?
Elaine from St. Michael.
Hello, Elaine of St. Michael. Elaine, what do you see on your screen when you unscramble these letters?
When I unscramble the letters, I see cheese on bread.
You see?
Cheese on bread.
Cheese on bread?
No, cheese on bread.
Oh, cheese on bread. Use it in a sentence.
My cheese on bread. You didn't hear what I just said?
Elaine, you are so Bajan. I love it. You're absolutely right. Cheese dawn bread. Yes. And you know, you have to say it in a particular way, because if you don't say it in that way, it doesn't sound right, you know.
No, you said cheese on bread. Nah, that's not Bajan.
No, you can't talk too pretty when you say cheese dawn bread, because it doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
That's a cheese dawn bread. Elaine, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good day. You do too. Thank you so much. So Elaine is right with that one. We have a new word on the screen. This one looks like complete confusion, but it's your job now to find out what word is this. What word do you think, when you unscramble these letters, we can see and we can make? Come on, look at it very carefully and tell me the word we can make when we unscramble these letters. It's a simple, simple word. I know you know it. Look at it very carefully. Some of you have the knack to look at letters all jumbled up and see the word immediately. Others, like perhaps myself, we have to say and work through all sorts of permutations before we figure out which letter do we start with and which letter ends. So come on, what word do you see on your screen when you unscramble these letters? IMYOUCNMT. They're all, I felt as if, you know when you sound it, it almost sounds like the word. Oh my goodness. So come on, what word do you see on your screen? If you sound it, it might very well give you some idea as to the kind of word that we're looking for here. 228-5562 or 228-5563. I think I may have given it away just a little bit. So what word do you see? IMYOUCMT. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
Oh, I'm very well. Thank you for asking as well. What's your first name and what parish are you watching from?
Carrie from St. Michael.
Carrie of St. Michael. I want people from elsewhere to call too here. Listen, Carrie, tell me, what word do you see?
Community.
Use it in a sentence.
Q in the community.
Brilliant, 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 Carrie. Well done.
And it's Terry.
Terry. Oh, yeah. T-E-R-R-I?
No, I.
Oh, Terry as in spelled like a man?
Yeah.
You never got fancy with the spelling of your name, Terry?
No, I use how my mother and father spell it. Terry.
However they spelled it, so be it, right?
Yes, please.
Do you get confusion sometimes when people look at your name on paper and they figure, wait, hold on, you are not Terry? Do they do that to you?
No, somebody called that. May I speak to Mr. Terry? And I say Miss.
Good dear. But well done. Thank you so much, Terry, all right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Terry
Bye-bye.
is all right. Nice to Mr. Terry indeed. All right, so what do we do? Do I take a commercial break? And let's see if we get... All right, let's meet now. We think we got that sorted out with the president of the YWCA, and we're so sorry that we could not spend as much time as I wanted to. Terry. Carolyn, good morning to you.
Good morning again, Pearson.
Firstly, congratulations, now serving as president with your new board indeed, and this must feel as though, oh my goodness, it's a heavy weight on my shoulders, does it?
It certainly does. It certainly does.
So how do you plan to shake this load off? What are your plans going forward?
Okay, so it is myself and about 7 other board members. So I'm not doing the work alone. We meet and we come up with strategies that we believe will benefit the women of Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had our first strategic planning meeting last month, and we have a lot of plans. We want to introduce new programs, and we want to expand existing programs.
That's beautiful. Now, obviously, it's almost like playing catch up because COVID would have put a halt to a number of things or the way that we did things. What are some of these exciting plans going forward that you think that the young ladies of Barbados will definitely want to come back to the YWCA?
Definitely, we have some skills training programs where women and girls can come and learn some skills, and if they want to, they can use those skills to start businesses and supplement their income. Classes such as makeup, dressmaking, eyelashes. We also have academic classes. We have mathematics. We also have QuickBooks, marketing. We are also going to expand the current reading club. Right now we cater for children, and we want to expand that to adults, to teach adults to read and foster a love for reading with the adults. We are also introducing sexual and reproductive health, an initiative that we want to start, where we educate women and girls about sexual and reproductive health. We also offer feminine hygiene products, and we want to do like talks, seminars, workshops, where they can get some information so that they can make informed decisions to guard themselves against unplanned pregnancies or even sexually transmitted infections. And we're not forgetting our seniors. We want to also do something for the seniors where we focus on healthy living. So we want to do like water aerobics, yoga. We are going to be doing meals in the kitchen, healthy meals in the kitchen, gardening, growing their own food. So we want to touch the children, we want to touch the women and girls, and we definitely want to touch our seniors as well.
It seems very all-encompassing indeed, from the manual skills to the health and lifestyle, educational skills. So you're developing the brain, the body, the everything completely.
Yes.
Now, YWCA is not a new word, it's not a new acronym. You've been around for a little while, so one is always called on to reimagine and reposition, you know, so that you stay relevant. Is that also a part of your mission as a new executive, to be able to say, we're going to reposition ourselves in this way so we are as equally attractive today as we were then?
Yes, definitely. And funny enough, the board consists of individuals from 22 right up to 50, over 50. So with the diverse backgrounds and skills, like we get different ideas, different suggestions that we can put forward, and we are definitely embarking on a very aggressive social media campaign, because we know that technology is basically the thing now. So we have taken to Instagram, Facebook. We have to develop our website, but we're going to use technology. We're going to use social media to increase our membership, to let Barbadians be aware of the YWCA and the great work that the organization continues to do for the women and children of Barbados.
You know, that technology really slowed us down today, you know, Carolyn, but this is definitely one to be continued because there's so much more we need to discuss with you as the new president of the YWCA, but we have to leave it there for now. My producer will no doubt be contacting you to see how best we can arrange to continue this conversation. But thank you so much and good luck with your journey going forward. You're welcome. You're an executive. That's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. For my producer, Alicia Asgrant, who goes on holiday. Enjoy your holiday, Alicia. My technical director has been Ruel Ford. At sound, Christopher Blenman. And at Master Control, the master of them all, Tamisha Green. I'm Pearson Boyne. For each of them, to all of you, we wish you a great today. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados.